I've been training for this episode for years. It's tomato, my favorite fruit. We're gonna be slicing and dicing them all kinds of different ways.
Life can be a struggle, but a good meal doesn't have to be. We can make creative, nutritious, and inventive dishes that won't break the bank. Welcome to Struggle Meals. Something that's really gonna turn your world upside down.
We're gonna make a savory tomato pie or galette. Check this out, really easy to make, wonderful use of tomatoes. Start with some butter. It's very important that you work quickly and you keep your butter cold. Everything needs to stay cold. That way you have solid pieces of butter throughout your dough and you get pockets of fat and deliciousness. So keep it in the fridge, perhaps even the freezer, work quickly. We're gonna take a 1/4 cup of cornmeal, a full cup of all-purpose flour, a little bit of salt. Now we put the butter in. If you're worried about the speed of your hands, you can go in with 2 knives right now. That'll keep the body heat away, it'll keep the butter cold. I'm just gonna go in real quick, because again, I wanna have pockets of butter so that we get a nice flaky dough. I'm gonna add about a 1/4 cup of sour cream to this. This will add tenderness to our dough, keep it flaky, and we're adding more fat, but with like a zing, you know, because it's sour. Coming in with ice cold water, here we go. Don't need it, keep it flaky. We cover it up. All right, so the key takeaway points are, have cold butter. Work it as little as possible so that the heat from your body doesn't melt said butter. Use cold water, and then when you're done making it and you've worked it minimally, put it in the fridge so that it stays cold. Cold, cold, cold.
Here we go. Fridge time, 1 hour.
Now, while that dough is getting very cold in the fridge, we're gonna make like a cheesy, savory base layer for the tomato. So we start with some onion. These will melt into the cheese, and that's exactly what I want. I don't even want anyone to know that there's onion in there, even though there is. We want the flavor, not any texture. Gonna do the same thing here, kind of with our fennel. It's got this anise flavor. If you try it raw, it adds that je ne sais quoi. We want that. Olive oil, really moisturizing that pan. Salt, pepper. All of this is gonna come in here and it's gonna be the base of our tomato pie. Very important. 1/4 cup of cream cheese, about half of a bar of it. 1/4 cup of cheddar. Take about half a cup of parm. While this continues to cook down, let's get to the main ingredient. So these tomatoes are on the vine. These are really, really wonderful. They're more vibrant and the flavor tastes great when you're buying them in a supermarket store because they're still like a little bit alive. But you could use heirlooms or whatever tomato you have. The whole point of a tomato pie is that it's broad. Remember, there's 10,000 varieties. Just pick one. We're laying these tomatoes out in thin slices. I'm gonna salt them. That's gonna extract the maximum amount of flavor diluting tomato water out of here. So come in. These guys are gonna dry out on the side. Back to our cheese. The struggle cover 9500 is perfect to melt that cheese further while we roll out our dough. All right, the dough's been hanging out. Work quickly, be swift. This galette is definitely easier than making a pie because it's super rustic. Like, the edges can be craggly. In fact, we kind of want them to be. Oh, that was so terrifying. Thank you, rice wine vinegar. Here we go. Coming in. Okay, coming out wider than this. Leave yourself some room around the edges so you can fold them in. Of course, this is the Struggle Meals tomato episode, but you could put really anything here. Could be zucchini or courgettes. This could be eggplant. Just folding up the sides. A little crease, coming around. An egg wash. Just trying to give some lovely sheen around the outside here. Yes, this is the pastry brush 1. I feel like I'm making the sun right now. I think I'm gonna resort to the finger. This is pastry brush number 2. Much better. Okay, this is gonna go in a 400-degree oven until the crust is golden brown. Call it 30 minutes, but really, until the crust is golden brown. That's your time marker. Let's go. It's looking like we've made it together. The golden brown crust has presented itself. Look at how flaky this pie dough is. $1.81 for this rustic tomato pie with fennel, onions, various cheeses, and a homemade pie crust. You can see how golden and flaky that is. You can see like layers. The layers of doneness, how the pockets of butter just melted. Juicy. It's a weird word to describe a pie with, but like that's what's going on here. The cheeses with the fennel and onion, it's like they add texture and just a little bit of sourness. I absolutely love it.